Red, yellow, green. Good morning. It's 12 o'clock. It's Monday. That means it's time for the BS show. That means Brad Fowler over here. He's the B. Sean Wright over here. I'm the S. We're the BS show. Century 21 Wright Realty. We're streaming at you on 30 different sites, including Facebook Live, Periscope, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Elemental P, whatever. I don't even know all the sites that we're streaming from, but there's 30 of them. But if you want to comment, go to Century 21 Wright Realty's Facebook page. That's where the comment box is. And Brad will answer your comments and tell you how he is and tell you how you're doing, and we'll get your thoughts on everything. So, Brad, how was your weekend?
Pretty good weekend. Had a lot going on. Baseball tournament. They got to play in the rain. Kids loved it. They didn't rain too hard, so they let them keep playing.
I thought it was singing in the rain. You can play in the rain too?
Yeah, it was playing in the rain this week. But now the kids just melted and faded away. I mean, it was good. There was some terrified parents that saw their kids actually wasn't going to die if it
They were
got
scared
wet
their kids were going to get wet and
Yeah.
didn't know what to do. I understand. So, my weekend was great. I actually went to a birthday party a barn party in the rain. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hate to miss that.
It's good. Good stuff. All right, so some big events in sports happened this week. So we told you the last couple weeks we kind of scaled back the sports, talking more other things, but we got two sports topics to talk about, and they're kind of opposite of each other. So let's say this. First, let's talk about the one sporting event that nobody cares about as far as the sport is concerned, other than this one event.
Right. Yeah, true.
Everybody all of a sudden becomes an equine expert when it's Kentucky Derby time. You have people that probably have never even seen a live horse, and they're like, oh, the Derby's on. Let's go watch the Derby.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're off. So, first time in history, the winner of the race gets disqualified. He was the odds-on favorite after the actual favorite was taken out of all the races over some kind of breathing issue. But first time in Kentucky Derby history, the winner of the race was disqualified. And if you watch the video, I mean, it was the correct call.
Yeah, I guess that's out of my realm.
It's out of my realm. Am not
I could see where they would
impede the process. Yeah. So now the other sports topic we have is kind of going back the opposite of this. From what I'm understanding from horse people is, look, if it was any other race other than the Derby, this would have been no thing. They would have made the call. It wouldn't have been a big deal, and everybody moved forward, and no problems.
Right.
But because they made the call at the Kentucky Derby, everybody's got a problem with it.
Right.
If you're going to call the foul, if you're using a football or basketball analogy, if you're going to call the foul in the first quarter, the call's got to be made in the fourth quarter.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you're going to call this disqualification in any other race, then it's got to be called at the Derby also.
Right.
Now, again, nobody cares about horse racing at all except for the Kentucky Derby, and when the winner of the Derby wins the Preakness or the Belmont, then they care about that race, and then they care about the third race. But if the Derby winner doesn't win the Preakness, nobody cares about the Preakness then.
Yeah, but it's off. Nobody.
Yeah, so I'm amazed at how many people same with Nashville has in the steeplechase this weekend.
I believe so. I know it's soon if it's not this weekend. I think
so
it is, though.
The Iroquois steeplechase that's been running in Nashville for over 100 years.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. I personally don't know anybody that goes up and hangs out at the Iroquois steeplechase. I know people that I know on Facebook, but those aren't personal. You know them on Facebook.
Right.
They go to the Iroquois steeplechase, but I assume it's the same thing as the Derby, just so they can go wear a big hat and drink bourbon.
Right.
I don't know.
Do that at home.
Yeah. It's the steeplechase. Do you drink Jack Daniels since it's in Tennessee? And you drink bourbon in the Kentucky races?
Yeah. You do drink whatever you want. I don't care where I am.
Drink whatever you want, man. All right. So, on the flip side of the Kentucky Derby, I just watched a video of Steph Curry taking about 28 steps to throw the ball to Draymond Green, I think it was, to hit a game-winning shot against Houston.
Yeah.
That's traveling all day long.
All day long.
I've decided that the NBA just needs to take traveling out of the rule books because they don't call it.
Yeah. It is amazing. I mean, no more than I know about the game, it stands out huge. I mean, I've heard people complain about it for years and years, but you watch it, it's getting worse and worse.
It's getting worse and worse.
It really is.
Before it was just up and down, like you carrying the ball with your hand, and then it was you took 3 steps. Now
I've seen him take 4, 5, 6
I
steps.
watched a video of LeBron James literally pick up a dribble at half court and run to the goal and dunk it. And they wasn't walking or traveling. I mean, it was like 7 steps.
Really? Yeah, I was gonna say for some of these guys that would be 7 steps from half court to the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing that it just don't get called.
I mean, but I hope I can find a link so I can put it in the comments on the Century 21 Facebook page. But I mean, he hopped back, hopped over, took another step, lifted up his pivot foot, threw the ball, and I'm going, and he jumped up and down at one point, which would have been up and down.
Yeah.
And you're going, look, there's walking, there's traveling, there's up and down. Where are the calls?
Right.
And for the guy he throws the ball to hit a game-winning shot,
yeah, that could have all been different.
That could have all been different. If you call that call, a different team wins the ball game.
Right.
So go back to this Kentucky Derby, which is the only horse race anybody cares about. They literally took the credit. Think about how many millions of dollars that horse breeder lost.
Oh, yeah.
Because his horse didn't win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. That is a big
these horses that win the Derby, I mean, they sell them as studs and donors and all this for the rest of their lives because you can have a bloodline horse of a Derby winner.
Right.
Think about that. That guy lost millions of dollars in stud fees because his horse didn't win the Derby.
Yeah. I mean, that emotional, yes.
Yay, woohoo, oh.
So, I mean, he's DQ'd. I mean, he didn't even place, right?
Right, didn't even place.
So.
And the argument could be made that the horse that won the race now, the actual recognized winner, he wasn't impeded at all. So, the actual horse that they gave the Derby to wasn't impeded, and he didn't beat the number 1 horse. Now, you can make the argument that these other 2 or 3 horses were impeded, but they didn't even come in second place. And the guy that came in second place is the one that questioned it. So, or the guy that actually won the race who initially came in second.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, top 3. Top 3 rock and roll songs of all time. Now, you've got several different genres of rock and roll kind of wound in there. You can go from rockabilly to 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever. Top 3 rock and roll songs of all time.
That's tough. Boys, talk about starting a fight.
Is Stairway to Heaven on the list?
I'm sure it would be with a lot of people, not on mine. I mean, it's a good song, but I don't know. Not in my top 3.
And thinking about like those people that really broke the ground and brought rock and roll forward.
Yeah.
You've got Chuck Berry, who was really the king of rock and roll. You got Elvis. Do any of those songs make the list? Those early rock and roll, Buddy Holly, these early guys that were trendsetters.
Right.
How do you get to that top 3 list of top rock and roll songs?
That's a tough call. Because with me, it would be more 80s, early 90s rock, hair band. That's what I grew up listening to. My older brothers, I listened to a lot of the Zeppelin and, late 70s, early 80s stuff. But I don't know. That'd be a tough one. You got to have Motley Crue in there, Van Halen.
Well, I'm a Van Halen. I got to I'm going Stairway's number 1.
Okay.
And I would say either... Oh, I don't even remember the song now. The Chuck Berry song that was in Back to the Future. Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
Johnny B. Good or Jailhouse Rock, one of those original rock and roll songs, maybe just because of influence.
Yeah, I mean, it is significant. Both of those are, but no idea, man. That's a tough one. You could have maybe a top 50, it'd be easier to do, but top 3
is impossible. If you think about Eddie Van Halen's Eruption, how trend-setting that was with all the people start two-finger tapping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it goes on and on and on. Like you said, the Crew, it's a vast. It may be easier to break it down into sections and then have a playoff.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, that's a good debate. Hello, we got lots watching. Hey guys.
So, that's the question. Top 3 rock and roll songs of all time. Let's break it out into decades. All right, you got the 50s. You got Elvis, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry. You got Yardbirds. I mean, a lot of early 50s, late 50s, early 60s. Then you break into the 60s. Do you break in the Beatles, the Zeppelin, all the Southern rock guys, CDB, Leonard Skinner, Rolling Stones? Yeah. I mean, shoot, you could probably put 3 Rolling Stone songs on a top 3 of the 60s.
Right.
You could probably put 3 Beatles songs on the top 3 of the 60s.
Oh, yeah. Of course, Elvis. He's always going to be on any top list. He's the man.
Yeah, but Elvis, you could make the argument that Elvis wasn't rock and roll after he came back from the Army. He kind of went to that operetta Vegas type show music. So, that's just the topic. So, while you're watching top 3 rock and roll songs of all time, we can break it into decades, and then we'll have a tournament. So, let's go from there.
There you go. What are y'all's thoughts? Put them in the comments and let us know one of your favorite rock songs of all time.
You got any comments there?
We got, let's see, Elizabeth Basil. She says, can't imagine how those people felt during the pending moments of the placement uncertainty. Don't you know it was driving them crazy?
Both people. I mean, the people that lose the race and the people that win the race. I mean, they're both pins and needles.
Oh, man. Yeah. A lot riding on that stuff. And do you think it was an intentional thing?
As muddy as the track was and all that, I don't think it was. It may have not been intentional, but it was the right call.
Yeah. Because, I know the jockeys look back, but, whether he done it on purpose or not. I mean, what if, it's just like in auto racing. Sometimes it's hard to tell if one came in or the other one came up.
Yeah.
So I've just seen the shot a few times. I hadn't really looked at it.
It does kind of look like he leers out, but who knows?
It's one of them things.
One of those things. Nobody knows but the jockey.
No leering.
No leering.
Yeah.
I'm a leerer, not a leererist. All right. Brad's listing. What you got? We
got a beautiful all brick North Murfreesboro, 4-bed, 3-bath, master suite and 1-bedroom downstairs, 2632 Pebble Creek Lane. It's on the market for $338,900. It's actually a little below comps in the low end of comps. We're just waiting for the right people. Give me a call and we can line up a showing or have your agent line up a showing. Ready to go. 615-519-3339.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, so we're going back to our positivity mindset stuff we've been talking about the last week. Let's see, Monday was positive thinking. Tuesday last week was setting goals. Friday of last week was to-do list and eating the frog. So today we're going to talk about how only you can control how other people make you feel.
Right.
That's tough. All the time you run into people that go, oh, that person made me mad or ticked me off, or my husband, I can't stand him, he's terrible. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Really, you're the only one that affects how you feel. You don't have to get riled up over what that person did.
Right.
You don't have to respond to it at all. You are the one that to tell how you feel about something. Right. You're the one that
allow it to happen.
You allow it to happen. Before you get mad, just sit over there and go.
And it can be tough. It's that's one of those things that the practice make perfect, because man, there are some people that just, without even trying, sometimes just completely rub you wrong in every way. But you gotta work on either looking at it a different light or whatever. But one, it's none of your business what they think of you. But two, you control how that affects you, and the only person suffering, whether you get mad about it or not, that's you.
Do you think that person cares if they pissed you off or made you upset?
Don't give them the satisfaction.
Right. And it goes back to that positive mindset thing. If you're moving along and you've got a positive mindset and somebody makes you angry, you've got to choose. Am I going to be angry or am I going to be positive about this?
Yep.
And it's amazing just how stepping away and just going, okay, I'm fine. you know what? You may actually make the other person bad by not reacting to them.
Right. That's true, because that's a lot of times that's what
they're just trying to get a rise.
That's true.
So by not giving them the satisfaction that they're looking for, they could be going, man, I really tried to make him mad.
Right. Well, if it's a bully situation, they like an easy
target.
Yeah. So if they see they're not affecting you, they'll find somebody else.
That's right. The old saying, you hit the bully in the nose.
Right.
If the bully's not getting a reaction out of you, just move along.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, so I've got a new listing coming soon. It is on Lismore Drive in Murfreesboro. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage. It's not on the market yet. It's going to be $179,900. It's about 1,150 square foot. We're talking about less than a mile to MTSU, right beside the MTSU Walmart. So you got shopping, you got restaurants, you got MTSU. So if you got a kid that's about to start at MTSU, perfect. If you're a first-time home buyer, perfect.
Yeah. If
you're one of these people that say, hey, I really can't afford to live in Murfreesboro anymore, this is an opportunity to buy a house, still have a you'll be buying a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house cheaper than you can rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So perfect opportunity, $179,900 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage in Murfreesboro. It will not last long. I hope it sells before it ever even hits the MLS. So let's see. All right.
What we got? Recruiting. Yes, we're always looking to bring in, new top producing agents. If you're kind of stuck where you are, or you feel like you're not getting the training you need, it's well worth a phone call. We can do a lunch meeting, whatever you prefer, but free training. Top producer? What kind of training do we have?
Buffini. Core.
So
mixture of all of them.
Not many people get free training, and this is
from a certified real estate coach.
There you go. So it's well worth it. A lot of people have come here and said it's a 180 from what they were used to at their previous brokerage. So, and I agree to that. So feel free to give us a call here at the office, 615-895-9710.
Absolutely. All right, Brad. Tell us about some current events in Murfreesboro.
We got some good stuff coming up this weekend, May 10th, at Barfield Park. They're going to dump 60 tons of sand out in one of the parking lots, and they're going to have the beach theme. It's the Barfield Beach Party. That's May 10th from 5 to 7. The event's free. That's a lot of sand to bring in and haul out for. I guess they end up putting it on.
They end up putting it on the baseball fields and the tennis courts, tennis courts, volleyball.
But still, that's just should be a pretty fun event. They're gonna have music, games, and activities for the kids. Should be pretty fun. And then the following day, May 11th, I believe that's Saturday. Borough Barbecue Fest. That's a Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctioned event. 6th annual. That's going to be in Cannonsburg. It's free to get in, but to do anything else, if you want to sample barbecue and you can actually be one of the judges, there's an admission for that. And then there's going to be craft beer, a little bit more if you want to try all that. And there's going to be a play area for the kids while you're over there eating and getting drunk. So that's going to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's free to get in, but you got to pay to participate. That's May 11th at Cannonsburg. Should be 2 good events. I plan on hitting both of them.
I should be at both of them also. I know my kids are pumped about this sand thing.
Yeah.
All right, news story you can't believe. We're going to go to the great state of Florida. Man, I don't even have to look anymore other than Florida news. Right. It's getting boring. All right, great state of Florida. Guy calls the 911 operator at 1:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Tells the 911 operator, my wife is a giant black widow spider.
Oh.
She must die. I'm too big to smush her. Can you please send somebody over? And the 911 operator is going, all right, this guy's either on drugs or he married a giant black widow spider. One of the two.
I'm going with option 1.
They show up to the house the first time. They said his breath smelled a little of alcohol. He was a little amiss. His wife was not a black widow spider.
Really?
Yeah, but they go, okay, sir, the 911 operator is for emergencies only. Your wife is not a black widow spider. This is not an emergency. Please don't call again.
Yeah, he called again.
Thank you, sir. 2 hours later, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the man calls back and he goes, y'all have already been out here once. My wife is a giant black widow spider. She's going to eat me. Please send somebody to help.
Yeah, he needs help, all right.
He got help.
Yeah.
2 officers showed up to his house. They didn't even waste time this time. They just put him in cuffs and hauled him off.
Straight jacket.
Straight jacket.
No spiders in jail.
They have not yet to find the giant black widow spider. It may have been in the walls like the snakes.
Never know.
Never know.
Hide. They're elusive.
Maybe he had an adulterous relationship with a black widow spider.
Never know.
But nevertheless, people in Florida keep giving us stories.
Please.
And
we could go 5 days a week within Florida stories.
Florida stories 5 days a week. We need a relentless athlete of the week this weekend. Last week it was the MTSU men's tennis team making it to the NCAA tournament and winning their first Conference USA championship. The week before that, it was Mr. Leslie with Whitworth Buchanan Baseball. Who do you want to sponsor as a local athlete, either as an athlete or as a student? Relentless Athlete of the Week, Friday. Give us your nominations. Friday, 12 o'clock, we'll be back, and we